We're good, Joe Scott? Okay. Welcome citizens to the regular town council meeting Monday, July 14th, for the town of St. Paul. At this time, we'll ask for a call to order.
Mr. Simmons.
Here.
Mr. Trevino.
Here.
Mr. Graham.
Here.
Mr. Swanner.
Here.
Mr. Dryden.
Here.
Mr. Nell.
Here. We do have a quorum. At this time, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have several general announcements this month. In July, several potholes, low areas of streets are being repaired throughout the town. West Shore Road, Cove View, Meadowlark, Cary Lane, and Rolling Meadows, St. Paul Road, Harlan, Lakeview Drive, and Drain Drive. This fall, the town will seek bids for sealing cracks in various streets throughout the community. I know we've worked with Scott on this because of Parker Road. We're going off-site, and I think they're making some good progress. In June, the town launched our new mass notification system, Everbridge Nixle. As of July 7th, only 17 individuals have signed up, with approximately 65% of those being town staff, council members, or members of the P&Z Commission. We would like to encourage all residents to register for this important service, which provides timely information regarding severe weather events, street closures, public meetings, and other community updates. To sign up, you just go to the town's website. There's a cell phone icon up in the upper center of the page. If you click on that, it'll take you to the link where you can sign up with cell phones, landlines, and text messages, and it's going to give you all the warnings for tornadoes, storm, hail, not the alerts, but the actual warnings. And it's a good thing to sign up for, and I encourage all citizens to do that. 3-3, the town has begun working on a budget for the fiscal year 25-26. And we encourage residents and business owners to share their feedback on projects or programs they would like to see implemented in St. Paul. Please forward your feedback to Scott Albert at stpaultexas.com by July 31st. We encourage everyone to attend the upcoming public hearings regarding the proposed property tax rate and budget, which is currently scheduled for September 8th at 7 p.m. at Town Hall Chambers. That will conclude the announcements for this month's meeting. At this time, we'll take public comments. Individuals are invited to address the City Council regarding items that on any agenda or matters not listed on the agenda. Each speaker will be allotted 3 minutes roughly to ensure all speakers have the opportunity to be heard and maintain meeting efficiency. At this time, I have a form from Leah Swanner. Please stand and give your address.
All right, Leah Swanner, 2525 Levon Parkway. All right. I would like to speak tonight regarding the proposed residential development on the 14.5-acre parcel off St. Paul Road, which was first introduced at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting in May and briefly discussed at last month's council meeting. Although I understand that further discussion is scheduled for August 11th meeting, due to Mr. Logan's absence this evening, I may not be able to attend, so I wanted to share my thoughts in advance. Summary, the concept plan proposes 10 residential lots on the 14.5 acres, with 9 of those lots ranging in size from 1.16 to 1.2 acres, and a 10th lot meeting the minimum requirement of 1.5 acres. As I mentioned previously, I was present at the May Planning and Zoning meeting and heard Mr. Logan's presentation firsthand. One key point I'd like to reiterate is that the concept plan and map he submitted do not appear to accurately reflect the actual scope of the proposed development. Specifically, the lot labeled as 1.5 acres is expected to be closer to 1.1 acres, and Mr. Logan indicated that it may include a community center and amenities such as a pickleball court or a swimming pool. I strongly encourage the council to request a revised and accurate site plan with correct lot dimensions before entertaining his proposal. Another important issue is septic control. Mr. Logan indicated that the lots are intended to accommodate large homes ranging from 4,000 to 5,000 square feet. on lots as small as 1.1 or 1.2 acres. While these lot sizes may technically meet the minimum requirements for septic systems, I have concerns that they will not provide adequate space. I live in a neighborhood that includes both conforming and non-conforming lots, and I can tell you from experience that when a neighbor's septic system fails or needs servicing, it's highly disruptive. More space would provide a better buffer and more sustainable long-term solution. Additionally, during his presentation, Mr. Logan mentioned several times that this development was intended for friends and family, and that he himself would not be living in the neighborhood. He also stated that he is in real estate development and investment business, which raised concerns for me. I researched his company, Think Big Investments, which describes itself as a, quote, friends and family investing to purchase real estate, end quote, and that it is now expanded to over 150 active investors with 25 plus properties. Their website showcases a number of ongoing developments, indicating a focus on investment returns. Mr. Logan also referenced a similar situation in Fairview, where he initially built his own home on a 10-acre property and later sold off the remaining land for a builder to develop and sell additional homes. This raises further questions about the true nature of this project in St. Paul. Is it really a neighborhood being created for friends and family? Or is it an investment vehicle seeking to maximize profit by pushing for non-conforming lot sizes? Ultimately, variances and exceptions are typically granted to accommodate legitimate hardships, not to increase density for sake of investment returns. I urge the council to consider whether this proposed development aligns with the spirit of our zoning regulations and the character of our community. Thank you for your time and for considering these concerns as the proposal moves forward.
Thank you. You want me to attach that to the minutes that you just read there?
You can if you'd like.
Thank you very much, Leah. Anyone else? Okay. At this time, we'll close the public comment section since we have no one else. Item 5 is the consent agenda. The consent agenda will be considered for the approval through a single motion that includes routine items that are typically non-controversial in nature. Any item on the consent agenda may be removed for separate discussion at the request of a council member, the town administrator, or any member of the public. We have 2 items to consider. The minutes from the regular council meeting held on June 9th, 2025, which you'll have a copy of. And 5.2, the review of the May 2025 monthly financial report.
So for road maintenance and signs, we have $232K to go. So do we have any chance of meeting that? Do we have kind of a plan for that?
No, sir. Other than, the contracts that we've already been approved by council for WOPAC, we're going to make the plans for spending this money.
Oh, I guess what's your forecasted estimate for that, for like how much we're going to use the budget?
We have about $50,000, so right around $50,000, plus the projects we had Simplify do this year as far as stop bars.
Okay.
I think that's somewhere around $15,000 or $20,000, so $70,000, $60,000 to $70,000.
Okay.
On the checks that were furnished in the packet, are those just for us? Or is that in the whole packet that's online?
It's in the whole package.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought we were going to mark out all the numbers. Yeah, okay.
I'll mark them next time. Absolutely.
Any discussion on any items?
We need a couple more minutes. if you
Okay,
don't mind.
take your time.
Did we officially close the American National Bank account?
Yes, we did. Council passed the resolution a month or 2 months ago. They closed it, yes.
packet of official minutes. 5.2.
Yes. Leah's and,
No, 5.2.
5.2.
There were statements read from Bob London and William King that were supposed to be included.
Oh, no. I did not include those.
Okay, what do we need to do to get those included?
We'll have to bring those minutes back, and then you'll have to amend the minutes because you already approved them.
We approved them with
No, this is June minutes we've not approved yet.
yeah.
That was from May, is that correct?
Yeah, if I recall right, I have to go back because you had questioned why the minutes were not part of the minutes previously. And I told you I couldn't locate the minutes.
Okay.
And
We
so
have audio and
right,
video.
and so you decided to move forward with approving the minutes without the attachments.
Because we have the audio video.
Okay.
As far as attorney bills, is there any, I guess, are we forecasted to kind of rein those in at all for the rest of the year, or is it going to kind of keep on its current rate?
I think that in my comments in the financial report, definitely in the budget, I had mentioned that I don't see that changing in the near future just because of all the different land use issues. I think we're aware of what some of those land use issues are, but we also have some other issues that we're going to have to that we're more likely to have to address in the coming months. I briefly spoke or mentioned in my reports about some of my concerns regarding the town's official zoning map, and we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get into the agenda. But that also has led to other discoveries that, SUPs like for the Pinnacle Montessori School have been repealed, including the one for the private school. We don't have an SUP for, the Restoration Church, so we're going to have to work through that as well. The Coventry, we found minutes where we approved an SUP, but we can't find an ordinance. So there are a lot of holes in the town zoning and zoning map that are probably going to take us well over a year to clean up. And the very first thing we're going to have to do is start with, well, what do we consider to be our official zoning map right now? There are some questions about the zoning map that was approved in 2021. We did find another official zoning map in 1994, but there's questions surrounding that map as well. So there's a lot of unanswered questions right now as far as what the town's actual zoning is.
Would you mind giving us your timeline of what you expect and when you're gonna, I want to do the maps by this, we're going to do SUPs by this one?
Well, to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting, again, it was one of these things that when you start asking questions by developers wanting to develop the property adjacent to the Pinnacle Montessori School, they've asked, what am I zoned? So you look at the map, and the map says an SUP. So, common sense will tell you, well, let's pull up the SUP and look at the SUP. Well, the SUP for that particular tract of land was rescinded about 8 months after it was approved. But that very ordinance, which rescinded that SUP, also rescinded the SUP for the private school. So there is technically no SUP on any of those properties, but that's what we're showing on our zoning map, that there are SUPs in place. They do reference a base zoning of R1.5, but we cannot find any evidence of when that property was zoned R1.5 via an ordinance via another zoning map that may have been approved in the past. And you know, when we tell someone that what the property is actually zoned, we need to be pretty definite because that's going to play into how they're going to develop the property. And they're putting a financial investment in there. And I cannot comfortably sit here and tell people who are walking through the front door what their property is zoned unless we have a specific ordinance. I have had some preliminary discussions with the town attorney about it. We're going to have to spend some time. I spent a lot of time this past weekend going through all the town ordinances again, documenting what ordinances were approved, zoning which properties, and typically sometimes when you annex property, you would also zone it at the same time. We were fortunate enough to have that completed in a few annexations, but there were some annexations we didn't mention zoning. I was able to account for over the weekend probably about 23–25% of the land within the town of St. Paul actually being zoned based upon single instrument zoning ordinances. I'm going to go back through that exercise again next week. Just double check, document everything, and then more than likely in August, we will have a meeting with the council, myself, and Clerk McCoy to discuss the next steps. There's questions about the actual town official zoning map that was approved in 2021. And if you just go through the town's record of ordinances approving official zoning maps, that was the only one that I was able to find that was approved as a separate instrument, as a town's official zoning map. Now, there are multiple zoning regulations that have been approved, starting with Ordinance 10, going to Ordinance 80, going to Ordinance 33, to Ordinance 130. But there's repealing clauses in each one of those. So even if there was a map attached to it, then there's a question, well, is the map even valid? A lot of the land use maps that were approved were just that, they're land use maps. And there's notes on each one of those land use maps that state that these are not zoning maps. They're land use maps. So the town of St. Paul needs clarity. And what are we really zoned? And what do we need to do to zone properties if they're not zoned? And that's not going to happen overnight. I wish I could give you a better answer, but I wasn't expecting, again, you have someone ask you a question about specific zoning for their property, being the property adjacent to the Pinnacle Montessori School, because they want to develop it. They want to put storage units there. And so, at least on 4 acres of the 10 that are not developed. So I started to do a deep dive on it, and when I started looking into it, I recognized that the SUPs were no longer valid. And then when I looked into the R1 zoning, because that's going to be their next question. If I go back and I tell them, your property is zone R1, you're going to have to build residential, they're going to ask me to approve it. And we have to be able to approve it.
So, question on that. Because in December 2025, our maps have never been contested. Would that not make it beat? And couldn't we just start from 2025 on forward? That would be the actual map in play, since it's not been ever contested.
You have to read the ordinance adopting that particular map, and that ordinance is what's creating the problem.
Okay.
I don't want to get too much into
No, I
it,
understand.
but that particular ordinance is what has actually created the issue.
Okay. I understand. So what are your next steps?
Well, to get through these next 2 nights. And I got about a handful, a few other things I need to get off my plate starting Wednesday. And probably this weekend coming up, the first of next week, I'll perform my due diligence again on all the town's ordinances, taking my time to it gets exhausting after a while. After looking at 258 280 ordinances, but, and then share that with Clark, and also examine the pattern of, there's going to be two, actually there's going to be three. I'm going to examine all the ordinances that approve zoning for the town of St. Paul and document individual lots. Then I'm going to go through all the town ordinances and look at zoning maps that may have been approved and what that language, so if we adopted ordinance number 10, which was in 1974, and it's referencing a zoning map, but I don't have a zoning map to refer to because it wasn't attached to the ordinance, or I can't find one in the records, then I need to be able to look for minutes, but was that particular ordinance, ordinance number 10, repealed by the next ordinance? So you have to not only find the documentation, but were those ordinances repealed? Because if they were repealed, then...
I guess we gotta be careful, it's not on an agenda, so I'm not sure how much we should continue talking about it, but it all started around budget, around roads and stuff. What about budget for an attorneys? What about, I mean...
It sounds like we may need to amend the budget to allow for the attorney, because obviously we're not spending all the money on the roads, so let's put some more money in the attorney's budget so we can get this straightened out.
Maybe we need to move money specifically allocated for the engineer as well, make sure we get some engineer.
Well, and this is on the agenda further down, I was going to talk about a little bit under reports.
Oh, okay.
But, so the third phase, so I'm talking about three phases. The third phase is going to be the land use. So there are several ordinances in the town's ordinance files where we talked about land uses, and the town would adopt land use maps. Well, those land use maps are not zoning maps. They're like master planning maps. They're not official zoning maps. There's a difference.
But from a budget perspective, we need to figure out engineering and legal
Right.
costs to get this
Right.
resolved.
The only thing we're going to need for engineering, and that's the question, is that we probably do need to start, I'm going to talk to P&Z about this tomorrow night. We need to start working on a new base town zoning map. And what I would like to do, once we actually confirm zoning ordinances that have been approved and Clark blesses them, I'd like to at least start to put those ordinances on the zoning map. There will be a legend when they are approved, so we know exactly what we have and what we're dealing with as far as properties that are zoned.
So much. No, we're not controlling that.
So, yeah, you know what, the legal expenses are going to be a lot more.
Yeah, it does sound like we need to amend this year's budget to be able to cover that.
Yeah, and we will. So once we get to September and we adopted a new budget, we're also going to amend the existing budget, bringing in alignment as far as it's going to be.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the regular council meeting held on June 9th, 2025.
Second.
Okay. Was that to approve the consent agenda?
Well, the first one on the consent agenda, which was at least the minutes.
What?
You do it all together, though.
You do it all
Unless you're going to
together.
call it out. Unless you're going to call out the consent
Unless you want to
agenda.
leave 5-2 off.
Yeah. If you want to call out 5-1 and 5-2, otherwise you're supposed to do the consent agenda together.
You want to accept both?
Sure. I'm okay with accepting both.
So
That's
was
the
that-
motion?
Yes.
So do I have to abstain?
Yeah, you can't vote yet.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say,
Not if you're
I'm going to
voting.
abstain.
Okay.
And Larry second?
Larry, you got a second?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. On to the regular agenda, 6.1, discussion and possible action on a resolution number 25-07-14-A, appointing J.T. Trevino to place 4 on the town council to serve until next general election scheduled for May of 2026. Do we have any discussion on this?
No, evidently, it's just, we need to make sure this doesn't happen again, because obviously he won the election, so hopefully that's not a problem. Next time this comes up with anybody that's on the ballot and wins. I understand you were out town and medical situations, stuff like that, right? So just hopefully we can figure out a procedure to keep that happening.
In the future, was there any way we could have done it without him being present?
I don't know, maybe virtually, we could have done it.
Okay, just curious,
Yeah.
for next time.
Special, do you have to have a special meeting or?
We could have had a special.
We could have had a special
Yeah,
meeting
we could
for
have
it.
had a special meeting for it. When JT did not show up the evening for canvassing the results, and when we reached out, a week after that, we were initially under the understanding that he could be sworn in 30 days from the date of the canvassing, and that was not correct.
Okay.
Which would have given us plenty of time to get into
Right.
June. Then we learned that it's actually 30 days from the election day, which was May 3rd. Canvassing made more sense to us. From the standpoint, you canvass the results, the official results. We didn't receive the results until the council meeting. And unfortunately, it ended up the way it did.
So just, yeah, and that's just one of those things JT had voiced concern over the public, the ones that voted. They didn't want their vote to not count. So I'm with Robert. In the future, we know now we should be able to watch out for this and make sure this doesn't come up again.
Is there a motion that's needed for this?
Yeah, you need to
Yes,
approve the
regular
resolution.
motion.
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 25-07-14-A, appointing JT Trevino to place support on town council.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. You get those, Scott?
Yes, I did.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. At this time,
Does he need to be sworn in?
Yes.
at this time, we'll go ahead and swear JT back in to get you up. If you'll stand up, please. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
So please repeat after me. I, JT Trevino,
I, J.T. Trevino,
do solemnly swear,
and that must go up.
yes, do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear.
that I will faithfully execute the duties of office
I will faithfully execute the duties of office
of Alderman Seat 4
of Alderman seat 4
of the state of Texas,
State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability preserve,
and will to the best of my ability preserve,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United
the
States
Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state, so help me God.
and of this state, so help me God.
Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, 6-2, discussion about the proposed residential development encompassing 14.5 acres, property ID 2856617, including the potential of 10 residential lots. And I think you'd asked that we table that till next month. when it
Yes,
shows up.
at the last council meeting, he tabled it until this meeting. Mr. Logan said he wasn't going to be able to make it, but he's definitely going to be here on August 11th, unless something changes. Yes.
So,
Table it until August 11th.
I motion we table.
Second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. To table it to next month. Item number 6-3, discussion and possible action on approving ordinance number 284-25-07-14, amending ordinance 280-25-03-10 to incorporate Appendix D, construction exhibit, into the KSA technical memorandum illustrating on-street parking improvements related to the construction activities along Lakeway Drive. Justin, do you have any input from KSA on this that you'd like to share?
Let's see if I can bring up the diagram.
Should be at the back, the very back, the last page of TM.
So we got everything straightened out with the residents on that road.
Yep.
Are there any residents that are opposing what is being presented?
I've not heard of any residents opposing it. I think everybody's happy with the current plan.
And Scott, you've not received any homeowner complaints or questions or concerns?
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah. Did you have to talk to the one gentleman behind the 6-foot fence next to you?
No.
Okay, you never can find that guy?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to be on his property. So it's only going to be directly across from the office complex. And then there's gonna be, it's based on the KSA site triangles. So we're gonna have the no loading markings on the north
Loading
side.
zone?
Yeah, no loading zone on the north side of it. And then we're gonna have no parking across from that on the south side, just to make traffic flow a bit easier. And then there's gonna be no parking on the north side, so pretty much the side that has the office complex is gonna be no parking. And there are gonna be stop signs there, and then there's gonna be 3 signs there basically specifying 7 to 7 Monday through Friday.
Okay. Scott, I saw something in reference, did you hear from the bus barn?
Yeah, well, I sent them the technical memorandum 2 or 3 months ago.
Right, I remember seeing something on that.
And they were happy with it.
Okay.
They were very
No
pleased.
objections to them, from them at all?
They were very pleased with the actions the council was taking.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's a big part of this, is the buses being able to get through and safely drop off and pick up kids.
Larry, do you have anything? David?
No.
Okay. Any more discussion?
So the signage is all going to be enforceable by Collin County? If
I
needed,
think it's by Travis, is it not?
or is it just Travis, just city ordinance?
I'm not
Because-
certain if it would be enforceable through Travis. I'd have to ask Clark.
The no parking?
And last time there was a homeowner that was concerned about a sign in front of their house. That's all been resolved.
Yeah, there's no markings or signs gonna be in front of your house, so,
Okay, good, thank you.
yeah.
Anything else, JT?
No, I guess if that was, I guess the question wasn't if it was going to be enforceable by our
Code enforcement officer.
code enforcement officer.
Can we enforce it through Collin County?
Is Collin County able to enforce the traffic? Because I would consider that traffic, maybe? Do they consider that a traffic?
I will reach out to them, but that's,
Yeah, let's make sure that
Right.
that isn't,
right. But I think obviously we want to move forward. And then,
right.
you know, whether it's Travis or the county, we'll do that work out as well.
So you're gonna meet with James on Wednesday,
Thursday.
okay, and he's gonna,
No, I'm sorry, Wednesday.
okay. And you're gonna kind of mark it up and,
I told him we'd mark it up, so
Okay.
we come out, verify the locations, the different improvements, locations, and stop signs. So we'll definitely mark it up, and then we can come home that evening.
okay,
We can verify.
all right, sounds good.
Okay.
So I guess, wait, one more thing. So if these are going to be, again, I guess after clarifying with Collin County, if they're not the party to be able to enforce these, and if it's going to be code enforcement, is that something that we're going to have a citation for inside of the book?
It says there's a penalty clause in section 3.
There you go. Never mind.
So we are in the process of redrafting the ticket book itself. We got a copy of the tickets from the City of Parker. We've ran what we currently have from Parker through the town attorney, assistant town attorney, who's the prosecuting attorney, who works for Clark as well. He's made a few edits to it, David Overcash. And then Travis has reviewed it, we've made a few other edits. And of course, you can't put every violation on the ticket. We just put the key violations, but there's a section where it says other, so I would assume
Other.
it would be there.
Sorry, I've had a muzzle on for a couple of months, so.
All right.
Gonna kick out.
Our funding's already covered for this?
Pardon?
Our funding's already covered for this?
Yes.
I move to approve ordinance 284-2007-14 incorporating appendix D, construction exhibit illustrating on-street parking improvements related to construction activities along Lakeway Drive.
I'll second that.
Okay. We have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. 6-4, discussion and possible action on resolution number 25-07-14-B, approving code enforcement procedures for the town of St. Paul. You know, can read through these. It started out between Scott, Travis, and I, and then it's gone through the attorney as well, through Parker and the prosecutor.
Yes.
And so it's been ongoing for 3 months.
So there's no changes since the last email?
No.
No.
Okay.
I saw the work going on down the road. Is that because of code enforcement attempts we've been doing so far on Metal Arc?
No, they actually purchased,
Okay,
someone
that was
purchased
the
that
sale.
house.
Okay.
And that's one of those zoning issues that we're gonna have to be addressing.
Okay.
Somebody purchased that house?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw the work on it, so.
All right, is 6.4, do we need a motion for 6.4?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just to approve the code enforcement.
I'll make a motion that we approve the code enforcement 2507-14B.
Two.
Okay, got a second from Larry. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thanks for your work on that, guys.
That's it.
Agenda point 5, discussion of possible action regarding whether the town of St. Paul should consider hiring additional, this is where Larry had asked me to flip 6.5 and 6.6, and I agreed with him on that. So if you don't mind, we'll go ahead and do that. 6-6, discussion and possible action on establishing a ticketing system to log and track citizen calls, visits, and inquiries, as well as to monitor ongoing town projects and open items requested by town council. Larry, if you would like to start off on this.
So we've sat in any number of city council meetings and talked about what's going on, what are you doing, so on and so forth. It's just a simple way of kind of keeping tag of those things.
Okay.
So we can help fix that up in a technical solution so that it's trackable, usable. We can look at it.
So have you y'all talked about
I haven't talked to
systems?
Scott at all.
So do you use the system that you prefer, or?
Yeah.
Well, I thought that was the purpose of the monthly reports, but if we want to do something in addition to that, we're open to it. If council wants to have additional accountability, I'm fine with that, but just understand, everything you add on top of this is just more time and effort, and no
Well,
disrespect.
No, I
mean,
validate it.
Larry's
Part of the
Larry's saying considering hiring additional staff. Do you need additional staff?
That's the
No,
follow.
that's on 6.5, we're on 6.6.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's on 6.6 was added in ticket.
We'll fix and go back to 6.5.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll roll back to 6.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, setting up and maintaining a system, there's a one-time, mostly one-time cost for that. You know, you gotta have an ongoing maintenance of it. I think to say what you were kind of saying, that maybe in a different way, is does the town, the size of the town, the number of staff really mandate the need to have a system to do it, or could it be handled with reports that are done on a monthly basis like Scott's been doing? And we're somewhere in the cusp on that probably.
Well, it's part of the reason for discussion.
Yeah.
That report could be automated. Just thinking outside the box, working with.
Out of a tool such as, yeah,
Run a report for all the issues for the month.
right.
Is there any technology tool that towns use?
So I get everything.
That you would like, I mean, that you would, you
Yeah.
know, think would be helpful.
Every time that I've heard of a system similar to this, staff is always correct about it. But I'm not saying there isn't a tool that we could use. Give myself and Ellen some time to research and possibly bring something back to you that we would recommend as a staff too. You know, obviously you want it to be something that's simple enough that if you're sitting at your computer, someone walks in the door. I mean, like Friday, I had 2 or 3 things happen just all at once.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not always like that, but it just happens sometimes, and sometimes you forget.
So SharePoint, and I believe we are on SharePoint.
We do for
Because
them.
we did at one point.
For them.
So SharePoint has lists, and it has,
Yes.
you can create action, you can create flows, you can create all kinds of stuff in SharePoint. If we need to hire a consultant to set that up with your and Alex's assistance, we already own that tool.
Yep.
You know, that may be able to fit the bill.
Yeah, we said that from the very beginning, actually.
Well, I think-
SharePoint and Teams is something, is something that we
Right.
can develop in-house, so we own it.
Right.
We can keep it simple.
Yeah, I know that you and JT had talked about this, I think, even when you, around TDAV or whatever, around that meeting.
We talked about it almost a year ago.
Yeah, JT talked about it several years ago, and so is that something you guys would be interested in pairing up with, come up with something, run it by Scott, see if he likes it, and tweak it, and come up with a plan?
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
So we're not asking Scott or Alex to do this research?
I think with the size of the team,
Yeah, it doesn't-
SharePoint will do it.
Yeah, no, SharePoint
It's not-
should do it.
There's enough nuances in it. And I don't know about auto, you could probably auto-generate reports out of it because you just basically
Change the view.
create a flow and print that flow out
Yeah.
and show.
That's
where-
how I would do it.
Yeah.
I mean, Justin.
I'll use SharePoint, so I don't know.
It's very doable.
Yeah.
I would consult with staff.
But it would definitely, so I would say that if we moved forward with a tool like this, like SharePoint, that we wouldn't be asking for a redundant report from you. That would be
Yeah.
not in your best interest and the town's best interest to be spending that money. However, we would make sure that we have a button for you to run an automated report.
So we're just looking for numerical data where,
I
because the
think-
reports that I generate now give you a little more
Right.
detail.
Right.
We can add some of that color too.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be
Well,
mistakes.
let's, I think it would just, it's not necessarily accountability, it's more so,
I got that. So you mentioned something a minute ago, sorry.
go ahead.
You had three people walk in and three things happen at the same time. We have no idea what that volume looks like. We have no idea what daily visitors, daily phone calls.
Sometimes it's, you don't get a lot of traffic.
Yeah,
And
I
then
get-
there's sometimes
I get
like, where'd this all come from?
Right.
Yeah, who opened the door to the circus, right?
Right. And it just throws the whole day off.
Understand. So we're just trying to get part of that's an idea and how many people are coming in. And then I think for us, we've had stuff for action items that
Yeah.
have gotten lost.
I
It's
agree.
not a rock, it's just, here's
Yeah,
what happened to this one?
yeah, I agree.
So really, it's just, really sounds like it's just an action tracking system.
That's all.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be even an automated report. His report can still be written the way he writes it.
Yep.
And part of the report would be, we logged this many actions, this many were walk-ins, this many were council items, and here's where they, we closed 5 of them and 6 of them were open or something like that. That way, it's just something that you and Alex can use to help convey to us the volume, which is where you're going.
Or for you guys, I would think it, so you don't forget, right? That, I think that's the key takeaway, is that 3 things happen at once.
Right.
It's at least a memo for you to go back to and or delegate in that same thing. It's an easy delegation tool. Hey, I took this phone call. Hey Alex, can you take care of
It
this?
sounds like we're interested in where the source of the action comes from.
I think
Maybe
so.
one of the drop
That's
downs.
that's part of my.
Maybe one of the
interest,
drop downs is, citizens, council, third parties that are trying to, do something in town, at least 3 categories, maybe more.
Right.
That we could get some kind of report that help us understand what's coming through your shop.
Okay.
And build on that table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
too.
Also-
I'll visit with you,
okay,
you and Alex.
okay.
Okay.
We can kind of work up something and come back to the proposal.
Okay.
Okay. So you're not going to take any action on it, we're going to just plan it, work it out, and then take action once you get it determined.
Yes.
Possible action,
Possible
yeah.
action.
Yeah, okay.
Scott and Alex and run me into the building.
So do we want to table this till next month, just to revisit, or?
Sure.
Is this something you want to,
Well, I'm kind of curious. Are you talking about 6.5 or 6.6?
6.6?
Yeah, I thought we decided no action.
Okay. Is that what we decided, no action on this, just let him discuss, right?
Yeah, it sounds like Larry and Scott.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, continuing on with 6.5, discussion of possible action regarding whether the town of St. Paul should consider hiring additional staff in light of the previous discussions concerning limited time and resources available to address the town's priorities. Again, this is yours, Larry, so.
Yeah, again, I go back to, we've heard sitting up here any number of times that we get limited time and limited resources. And it's just, we haven't had the discussion in the year or so I've been here, so to follow up is the question, do we need to bring in some part-time help or something like that? And it's landing squarely on your table in front of you.
So the proposed budget does include some additional funding for the accounting side. How that's going to work out or what that may look like in the new fiscal year is yet to be determined. Alex and I have both talked about it would probably be helpful for both of us if we had someone that could handle some of the accounting issues for us. I mean, we're comfortable with it, but neither one of us have an accounting background. And we would like to have someone who has more of an accounting background to make certain that we are dotting all our i's and crossing all our t's. Not saying it has to be indefinite, but we have transitioned to the QuickBooks Online. Things have gotten a little bit easier for both Alex and I to process that, but we also want to transition to allowing for people to pay for building permits with a credit card. So we'd like to have someone who has expertise with QuickBooks Online also help us transition to that phase. So we're always having to ramp us up to learn something new. If we have someone who already understands it and moves a lot quicker and moves us to the next step without having to worry about it for a month or 2 months and come back to it. And that's what happens is that you want to implement something, you're working on it, then all of a sudden the gears change and you're going in a different direction.
Do we need to wait until the new budget, or is it within our budget that we can do?
We could, but we will have to end up amending the budget before year end. I have talked to 3 different accountants. You're looking at a minimum of about $1,000 a month, anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200. I think we budgeted somewhere around $500, which was the CPA in the current budget. So we're a little bit.
We discussed this 2 or 3 months ago as far as.
Yes, sir.
Contract work for
Yes.
accounting.
And I do have one gentleman in mind that if we want to move forward with the additional help on the accounting side, he'd probably be a good pick.
Can you add that to next council's agenda, or is that something we can take action on now?
Well, if council's comfortable with us moving forward, knowing that we're going to have to amend the budget by year end, I'll move on it this week,
Yeah.
not next week.
Sure.
Okay, it says we can act.
Yeah.
I'd be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay.
Do I know what the proposed cost is for said person?
You're probably looking at 12,000 at a minimum, no more than 13 or 14.
And Carl, our CPA, what was he, 500 you said?
500.
Okay.
And, I mean, anybody that we engage in this could be terminated at any time.
Yes.
correct?
This isn't, we're not looking at this as
It's
a
a-
permanent
It's
fix.
a month to month.
Alex and I are at a point where we're comfortable entering bills, paying bills. But neither one of us really are experts at QuickBooks. Neither one of us, have an accounting background.
At QBO, right?
That's
That's
what
what
we're-
we're.
Right.
This would just be safer for the town.
Right, and so
that's-
we want someone to help put that in, the processes in place that are going to carry the town forward, that we can feel very comfortable with.
So part of this person's mandates can be documentation.
Right.
Okay.
So is this more of a safety thing, or are we gonna kind of free up any of your time as well with this?
The goal is to free up our time as much as possible.
How much time do you
And-
think it'll free up?
Considering he doesn't know, it's gonna be a lot.
Well, it's not just that, it's the cost of time to
For sure.
figure out some new things.
Yeah.
It's not just what
We spend a total of, 2 days every 2 weeks,
Yeah.
or over a 2-week period,
Okay,
so 16 hours. So let's say we cut it down to 8 hours every 2
Or
weeks.
less.
8 hours apiece, or 8 hours for you and Alex?
8 hours for Alex and
Okay,
I. Because typically we do the billing together.
okay,
We walk through it together, and I'll do payroll on my own, I do the TMRS on my own. I'm pretty comfortable. Those don't take very long. I mean, quite honestly, they're relatively easy.
So the person's an individual or it's a company?
It's a company.
Okay. The reason I asked, so you said our firm, Vale and,
Bellem Park.
they provided a quote for us as well?
They provided 2 recommendations, and
Okay.
both those individuals I've talked to, and they're independent, they're not part of Bellem Park, because that would not be kosher.
Right.
But they did recommend 2, and we were working with the one individual that they recommended when we did the QuickBooks Online. They helped us transition, that was Michelle. And you've probably seen her name on a couple of reports that came across packets.
Yes.
But she's getting ready to retire. And then I interviewed one other individual that they recommended. But there is a gentleman out there that works with several small cities, Doug Martella, virtual CFO. He could walk in and handle St. Paul's finances.
So he'll be able, so we'll be able to like accept credit cards for payments and stuff like that?
That's our goal.
QBO does that, if we invoice.
Yeah.
Right, but that would be another benefit to the residents.
Right.
Convenience.
Right.
For a nominal 3% upcharge.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that when that comes up.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
You have a preference?
Pardon?
You said you had a preference, so yeah, forgive me if I forgot whom the individual's name was.
Doug Martella.
Doug Martello, okay, so he's your preference?
Yes.
Okay, and he comes at 14,000, up to 14,000 for the year?
He's given me a proposal already for around 1,000, but if we extend some additional work, that may go up a little bit.
Okay.
So we still need to negotiate what that work's all going to involve.
Okay.
And what I will do, by August 11th, I will definitely have a proposal that I'll put in front of council for your approval.
Okay.
Is that for the additional work, or is that just to move forward with
It's,
the whole
sounds
thing?
like,
Well, to move forward with everything, but I'm going to give Doug the green light, hey, we're ready to go, but I'm going to have you bless the proposal on August 11th.
would we tell you,
Is there
would we
stuff
tell?
you can do now?
Pardon?
Are you ready to engage with him now, though?
If you're okay with me engaging with him, absolutely.
Any
Do we want
objections?
to have him come in and?
But I would still want council,
Anything like that?
No.
I would still want council to approve the proposal on August 11th.
Sure. I mean, we've talked about this for months, you
Yeah.
and Alex
Right,
help on
right.
QuickBooks.
Yep.
And it's just, safer for the town, more
Right.
transparency, that kind of stuff.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
I like the
I'm waiting
mitigation,
to-
the risk mitigation. I like handing it off to a third-party entity, definitely that, and I'd like for them to be vetted, sounds like you vetted them. I would like to see a price, so we didn't say,
Right.
hey, we're going forward.
Right.
Oh, by the way,
Right.
here's the nominal fee
Right.
for that.
So what I'm hearing, everyone's comfortable moving ahead now, but I'm still going to bring the proposal for you, so there's no,
Can we approve it tonight with a certain dollar limit to spend? Because what it sounds like is your proposal is going to have potentially additional services that we may need to discuss.
you could, under 6.5, you could, yes.
He had mentioned putting together for next month's meeting. Is that what you're more comfortable with, putting together?
But we know the base services that you're wanting him to
Right.
provide. He's already given us a quote for that.
And he's giving us a quote for that.
And the other thing, I mean,
I just mentioned because he did, that's the only thing.
so we're going to move forward. I'll still present the proposal on August 11th because the contract can be void if we need to, if council's not comfortable with it. I'm just more comfortable with any agreement or contract that we enter into. It comes before the governing body because we are a general law city. And that's probably the best way to handle it. But I will reach out to Doug and tell him we're ready to move forward, even if that means before August 11th, but I will still bring the proposal before you on the 11th, so everything's transparent.
That's very good.
That's it.
Works for me.
Okay.
Do we need a motion to move forward today, and while we're waiting on the 11th.
Authorize staff to move forward with engaging with Doug Martella for accounting services.
A motion, we authorize staff to move forward with David Martello
And accounting services.
and accounting services.
Okay. Do I have a second?
So,
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
so
Did you get second on that? and all that?
So, we covered accounting. Is there any other shortfalls? So I said I put this squarely in your lap to ask you to.
Well, I would tell you, depending on, well, there's a lot.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it depends
Something you
on
did
just
about a
what we
couple
want
months
to, accounting mind, as far as getting off the table.
Yeah.
But where we end up with zoning and what we want to do in regards to the town of St. Paul today, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, that could change as far as the level of work that's going to be produced for a new zoning map, whether we do a comprehensive plan, whether we look at the financial needs of the town as far as current land uses versus different land uses along Parker Road or in the ETJ. There are a lot of different avenues we can look at in regards to positioning the town of St. Paul for the next 10, 15, or 20 years. And one of the items that I'm going to speak about under my report on the agenda tonight is the fiscal impact analysis. And we spoke about that briefly. And it actually started when we did the last budget process when I came in July. And when we adopted the budget, I think JT had ran a spreadsheet on where the town would be financially within the next 10 years. And I think it wasn't a good outcome. And I've also referenced in my report sales taxes obviously declining, and I see that continuing. To what, how long that will continue or how much sales tax will lose is still an unknown. Obviously, with the strip center opening over here with Tom Thumb in the future, a year and a half from now, the two new ones, whatever retail we're getting local, or even any retail that's being done online, that someone can go down here if they want to get out of their house and sit online and take care of it. Because we do get a lot of sales tax from online. The Amazon Marketplace, I forget what the other Amazon was. The landscape business, not King, there's another landscape business that we get quite a bit of sales tax from. But the rest are like the restaurants, Johnny's, I forget who the others are, the Sonic. You'll probably end up seeing both those restaurants lose some revenue to any other new restaurants that come along. But we've been averaging a loss in revenue of probably about $5,000 annually for the past 2 years. Right now, we're flat. But in the next 2 or 3 months, we can end up probably $3,000 less than what we have projected. So that's why I'm projecting $300,000 for next year's budget. And so I do, I would say we're probably going to end up losing some revenue. So that gets me back to the financial impact analysis that I'm going to talk to the Planning and Zoning Commission about tomorrow night, if they are even interested in entertaining a meeting with a consultant to talk about looking at the town of St. Paul's current land uses and how will the current land uses support the town for the next 10 or 15 or 20 years, and what would what would we have to generate to support the town of St. Paul? Or another scenario may be if we have other areas within St. Paul other than what we currently have, the commercial retail, what could that generate in revenue? Or third scenario would be if we look at commercial retail in the ETJ, like along Parker, or up the corner, we're able to work with property owners in the ETJ to come in and have commercial. How would that work? So I'm trying to look at potential financial analysis under 2 or 3 different scenarios of what will it take to support the town of St. Paul. Eventually, you're going to have to start replacing your infrastructure. You can't, continually be putting Band-Aids on it. you know, one-time infrastructure costs are gonna be more than $2 or $3 million. Whether it's streets, drainage, your fire and EMS is gonna continue to increase. And all I wanna do is start looking at what those options are for the town to support itself in the long run without the property taxes having to be increased substantially.
Okay.
That's probably more than what
But that's more in what's coming up than what you just covered, but yes, I agree with you. 6.7, discussion possible action regarding drainage concerns submitted by residents. This says, Robert Simmons, you had asked for this. So I had received a ton of phone calls from residents after we've had a lot of rain this year. And I've received a couple more even since this was put out, and I sent those to Scott and asked him to get a hold of these residents and to discuss their issues with him. That way he was brought on board. And so that's kind of where that came from, just so you know.
Yeah, and with the budget we have, you know, I understand we're gonna have to move some things around, I get that. But still, I think that there's probably a budget this year to engage with WOPAC or whoever we need to engage with to take care of some of these. If there needs to be some engineering to ensure that we're not causing cascading issues down the line, I understand that too. But it seems like that these don't require certain times of year. I mean, there is, I guess, some concern around when grass grows and stuff like that. But we can always come back and work with that issue later. But we want to make sure that we're prepared for situations like this where people are getting really detrimental water collections and runoff and whatnot on their properties. So regardless of whether or not it's time to crack and seal, it seems like we could get these going at any time of the year.
That would be up to WOPAC, but
Yeah,
yes.
I'm hoping that we can engage them and get them to either them or somebody else.
Are you talking about just like road maintenance, or are you talking about like the major engineering water
Ditches.
issues?
What I'm trying to say is, year after year, what I hear is that we can't do the roads because you gotta wait until just the perfect time of year, which evidently is like just maybe 2 months out of the year, which aggravates me very much so. So, but these type things where you're digging ditches and cleaning out, driveway cul-de-sacs, not cul-de-sacs, culverts, thank you. That kind of stuff we should be able to do at any time of the year. I get that replacing grass may be only in the spring. Certainly we could come back through and replace grass after we fix these issues, because this seems to be a big problem whenever we have major rains like we've had this year.
I think, we talked about this before, the only issue that was brought up was part of this is being imposed on us because of Wiley, or because of that public storage, the Carefree.
So all of these are related to Carefree?
These are
These are related to no man's land, basically.
Yeah, it's a down end.
It's the downflow of that Carefree.
So, and
Well, it's not just-
I was not aware, were you here when the HOA dissolved in this
No,
house?
that's after that.
Okay, so I talked to a gentleman that informed me, and I don't know, maybe you've seen something in your research, that not only when that HOA failed did we take over the roads, but we also took over the ditches as well.
Right.
He called it a oops. So I don't know if that's true or not, but if you've seen that research that says those ditches are also ours to maintain. And so where we don't tell the homeowners, it's on you.
Right.
And so have you seen anything like that?
No, I have not.
Okay. Because that was just word of mouth told to me, and I was just curious if you
Well, I
run
talked back
across
to that
it.
discussion we had earlier about that HOA being dissolved or not.
Yeah, that's the
something
other
we talked
question.
about, yeah.
So what needs to be taken, what do we need to do with 6-7?
Okay, well, certainly Lakeway Drive is not part of that though.
Yep.
So at least that one could be looked at. Perhaps the rest of them are all somehow associated with whether or not the HAs. I think in the past we've taken care of ditches in that subdivision, but
You've done the front ends of those with alignment with the owners, as I understand it.
Okay.
We're talking to a couple people. What we're talking about now is the downside of it the downstream part of it,
Right.
which is owned or not owned by whoever, I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
That's a question we can go answer, is can we touch that?
Okay. Okay, well,
But.
so let's talk,
Lakewood-
there's two things then. We need to figure out what, if any, you've taken that action to talk to Clark about where we're at with the HOA. Then the second part is 3400 Lakeway Drive, or anything really on Lakeway. What can we help with there?
And that's the one we already have engineering for?
I believe that's correct.
Well,
Is it
Sonny?
Sunny?
Mhm.
Yeah. I'll reach out to Abiel. We'll make that a priority.
I believe when he came in, he had, that was one of them that he had the engineering on as one of the projects he's
Right.
completed.
Right.
right.
I don't think it ever went out to bid or anything like that, but
Okay.
So we've got some budget this year, so let's knock it out. That way next year we're not still staring at it.
I know, yeah, that ditch is pretty bad, and her property's pretty washed. She's wanting to do some maintenance on it, and she can't even run a lawnmower on it.
Okay.
So,
Scott, would you include in your monthly report to us, mid-month report there, so we don't have to wait a whole month to get?
Yeah, so I'm gonna do the 3400 Lakeway Drive as a priority, along with obviously talking to Clark about the Vista Oaks HOA.
On Abiel, we've talked to him a couple times about walking Vista Oaks to walk through that,
Okay.
right?
Right.
So if we can get him on the hook to do that, and I know that Kent's got permission to walk that with
yeah,
some folks.
Ernie Hoback has got neighbors to give me permission to be able to walk down close to no man's land at the end of Vista Oaks, because you'd start at the downhill side and work your way back up. And so, he's got permission from all the neighbors for me to take off the hill and walk him all the way back.
So we can get Abiel to go do that
Mhm.
walk.
See if there's anything he can do.
Okay.
At least he can come back with some recommendations or a start.
Okay.
Is this no man's land, is that what separates Wiley from St. Paul?
Basically.
Is it a concrete ditch back there?
It's concrete in 3/4 of it, I believe, and there's an easement for North Texas water line that goes across it at 45. And so, but the question has always been who owns it, because golf, from what I understand, when the HOA went away, they offered that property to the homeowners. You may know this, and the homeowners said, we don't want a part of that. So I think that's why I've always just called it no man's land. Nobody knows really whose is it, whose responsibility.
Okay. So 3400 Lakeway Drive, walkthrough with Abiel, Vista Oaks HOA. I want to have for priorities right now on drainage.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay? That good enough?
That's great.
We don't need a motion for you to
No,
take action,
what
right?
I've just heard is that you,
6.8 is a budget work session, general discussion regarding the draft budget for the fiscal year 25-26. I think you've already covered some of it, but
Yeah.
continue on.
so you've had a draft budget for the past 2 weeks now. I'm not going to bore you with a lot of details. I'm just going to get through a couple of highlights. The draft budget is roughly $998,000, which is an increase of about $52,000 from last year. Primarily, the growth was driven by property tax, and we spoke briefly about sales tax collections leveling out. Revenues, our three main revenue sources, property tax accounts for 50% of our revenue currently in the proposed budget, sales tax 30%, and interest earned 11%. And that comes out to about roughly $906,000 out of the $998,000 budget. We have a taxable value of $219 million, and when I looked at the report today, they did their final report before they sent it to, get the gentleman's name who does a final certified value. It dropped down to about $217 million. Then there will be 2 additional reviews this upcoming year, one in the fall and one in the winter, where we could see an adjustment in our appraised value, but I don't see that being significant. We're such a small town, even if there was an adjustment, it's not going to be that huge when we have a small tax. So I'm comfortable I'm comfortable as far as the appraised value we currently have, and I used a tax rate of what we currently, current tax rate. I will provide you with different scenarios in August for tax rates that you'll be able to take under consideration. And then eventually you'll have to say, we'll have to get a particular tax rate that we're going to put in the paper. However, you have the right to change that tax rate all the way up to September 8th, as long as you're going down and not up. So once we actually decide on a tax rate that you're going to move forward with, you can change that tax rate all the way up to September 8th, as long as it's going down and not up.
Hey, Scott, with interest being 11%, do you see any big drawdown on that tax pool account that would affect that number?
No, we moved the majority of the funds. I asked you and Kent about moving the majority of the town's funds over to the prime account, because we're getting a little bit more out of the prime account, so I don't see any drawdowns. Actually, I'm going to see it continue going fairly good.
I mean, it's been increasing.
It's been increasing. I don't see any expenditures that are going to happen this year where I'd have to take money out of the tax pool.
But I mean, the 6.7, for example,
Mhm.
there's larger expenses related to these repairs. Do you anticipate that we would have to draw that account down?
No, I'm not anticipating that right now. Absolutely not. So that pretty much covers the revenues. Then on the expenditure side, roads and maintenance in the budget accounts for about 35% of the expenditures. Payroll, 23%, fire and EMS, 22%. Audit and accounting, we have $26,000 in there for upcoming audit. $12,000 is in the budget for the accounting services we spoke about earlier. Franchise fees, I think you saw a note that I sent out to you in the budget message. We probably need to audit a couple of franchise fees that we've been collecting. It's unusual to see our Republic Service franchise fee decreasing, and that seems to have been a pattern for the past 3 years. And if you do the simple math of 355 single-family residential homes, and what their rate is, and we get 10%, we're off a couple of $1,000s. So we probably need to go back and audit the Republic Services. Fire and EMS, actually, our fees for the upcoming year went down a little bit. Fire services, we have $158,000 in the budget at a per call rate of 233. Projected calls are 68. And then EMS and paramedic services, we're looking at $25,000, reflecting 73 calls for the upcoming year, plus a 10% admin fee. So both those fees have gone down from what we currently have in our current year budget. Legal court costs, I currently have $40,000 in the budget. I also have $12,000 as far as for legal services for Clark. I have $12,000 in there for the city of Parker, $7,000 for the service fee, but also included $5,000 for the prosecutor services. Payroll, I did include a 2.5% COLA adjustment for staff. Payroll is projected to be about $3,000 less than what it was this current year. Health insurance is the only item I do not have a cost on yet for the upcoming year. Investment funds, we spoke about that a little bit. I also included $10,000 in the community events to hold 2 community cleanup events this year, one in October and the other one hopefully in April next. And then in mapping and infrastructure and planning, I included $14,000 in the budget, $12,000 earmarked for a new zoning map. And then communication software, I included $3,800 in the budget for the Everbridge mass communication
So
system.
12,000, you think that'll cover new maps?
That's pretty much what we're paying for. I forget how much we're paying for that. We're right around 12 or 15,000.
And you
For the boundary.
factored in additional Clark Town on the legal side regarding the maps issue.
That 12,000 would be just for hiring
Services.
KSA to put together a new zoning map. The 40,000, just general services, which would include also Clark giving us feedback on any ordinances as far as zoning or the maps themselves. But And if we need to adjust that budget through the year, we will.
It's a lot of work. Good job.
Yeah, thanks for all the detail.
Yeah, if you go through the budget message, that gives you more than enough.
Right.
Yeah, it's significant detail, so.
Yep.
Does this require any kind of motion or action?
No, so on August 11th, I will, so this is like your draft for us to have this workshop here, and if there's anything that you want me to change before I submit the proposed budget. So I'll have a proposed budget in front of council on August 11th. You'll call for hearings on the proposed budget and tax rate on that same evening, and then on September 8th, we'll hold the hearings and you'll approve the tax rate and the budget. Right.
So, yeah, so this assumes that we hold the tax rate the same as last year.
Yeah, but I will receive the final certified values no later than July 25th. And once I receive those values, I will forward to council even before the August 11th, your options for tax rates. No new revenue, holding it. I will let you know what your options are, so you can make that decision.
Good job.
You good with that, Scott?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
I was just, appreciate the summaries, the details, the thought put into that, makes it flow really well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on to item 6.9, Town Administration Monthly Report. Scott, it's once again yours.
Yeah, I included the past 3 reports in there, because I'm gonna make this a habit every month. I'll put my monthly report in there, it's just one for documentation. But also include all 3 in there, just in case there was any item in one of those 3 reports that you wanted to speak about tonight. So was there anything in any one of those 3 reports that you wanted to talk about before I go on?
I mean, I already brought up the ones that I wanted to talk about,
Okay.
and we had it on here, so I appreciate that. I don't know if anybody else.
No questions from me on the reports.
I reserve the right to come back with more questions.
Okay, Lakeway Drive parking restrictions, obviously Justin gave you an update. I'll be meeting with James on December 5, Wednesday morning. We'll mark the locations of the street signs and other improvements. So Justin can go out in the evening, verify that they align with what we have on the exhibit. Wolfpack Street improvements, they did come in a week or 2 weeks ago and fill some of the potholes. They were supposed to be here today to take care of the low-lying areas, but rain has pretty much set them back. I received an email from Adam this afternoon, and he said they may be back next week to pick up that work. So I will let you know as soon as I hear from him. Specific use permits, we spoke about that at the very beginning. I won't say any more unless you have any questions. The proposed development on the 10 acres, they want to use 4 acres for storage, and the attorney representing developer, Bill Dahlstrom's probably one of the better attorneys that I know of in the state of Texas that works with developers. And he asked, well, Scott, what do you think how they're going to feel about storage units? And I told him, well, we have plenty. And Bill had mentioned that they're going to be upscale storage units, so we had a little bit of discussion about it. But Bill really started to dive down into what the zoning on the property was. And that's really what started a deep dive into the zoning. Because they're going to be verifying it. So we're going to be pretty certain we know what the zoning is going to be. And I told Mr. Dahlstrom that I will probably be able to get back to him within two weeks. And this was a call I had last week with him. Because I told him I was dealing with P&Z and council and other things. And so hopefully I'll have an answer to him by next week.
So it's just been preliminary, there's nothing then that's been submitted to P&Z?
There's been a lot of activity on that property. Something's going to happen. Something will happen.
But nothing's been formally submitted or requested? requesting it.
No, but the developer, the person that owns it's a developer out of Austin. And if you recall, there was a push up that area for apartments at one point. But there seems to be a lot of activity in that area.
So they've gone from low-income housing to public storage on that lot?
On 4 acres.
For-
So there's 10 acres there.
what are they discussing for the other 6?
Well, Mr. Dahlstrom didn't say anything else about the other 6 acres. And then we spoke about the financial impact analysis. And then we spoke about the Restoration Church and Coventry SUPs. And the
So-
town zoning map.
So you finished you finished the sub audit, right? Is that where this came out of? Because you were doing an audit of all the SUPs we had, or?
Well, really, it was the Pinnacle School. When I received a call from Mr. Dahlstrom,
Okay.
and we were already questioning the SUPs.
Yeah.
But when Bill called, wanting confirmation about the zoning, you know, it's easy to verify that there is no SUP in place for either one of those. You have 2 lots up there. It's called the Pinnacle Edition, Lot 1, Lot 2. And Lot 1 being the Pinnacle Montessori School, there was an SUP issued for them to operate the school there. That SUP was repealed when they repealed the SUP on Lot 2. So not only did they repeal the SUP on Lot 2, they repealed the SUP on Lot 1 at the same time.
Why?
Was that a language or effect thing, to borrow the phrase?
I don't know why. I wasn't here. I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you why it happened. So then the next
I just
question.
remember it said that we have to do it, that's what I remember.
Right.
This has to happen because something, I don't know why we did that, it doesn't make sense.
And,
It should have been separated.
yeah. And so the base zoning referenced in the SUP is R15. And, well, the first time, actually, so initially I thought the R15 was set in stone. Until you read the ordinance that adopted the map in 2021, it creates a lot of uncertainty of what the zoning actually is. It actually speaks to, if there is not a specific zoning ordinance of legal instrument zoning property, the map that was adopted in 2021 does not zone property. So that's basically, if you don't have a legal instrument zoning a tract of land, that land is not zoned, which would be 75% of your town.
Yeah, that was something that came up, wasn't it, all the way till January 1, but there's some kind of deadline on the 2021 map in January 1st. Clark had mentioned that
Oh, wait. So you're talking about,
for zoning.
so if you recall, when we first started dealing with the other issue, I wasn't able to find any zoning. Well, I wasn't able to find any zoning for Lakeview Plaza. 0. Other than what was on the map. So the discussion was, wait. Okay. But then, when I was asked about Pinnacle, and I saw that the SUPs had been repealed, and I'm being questioned about the zoning, the base zoning, and when I recognized that the SUPs were part of the map that was approved in 2021, I go to the map, the ordinance that approved that map, and the language in that approved the map, the zoning map, the official zoning map, speaks to if property is not zoned by a separate instrument, this map does not zone property. So if I don't have a separate instrument zoning the Pinnacle property as R15, the zoning map that was approved in 2021 does not put zoning in place. You have to have a separate instrument.
and that instrument is being worked on. Right.
Well, again,
That's what you're trying to put the puzzle together.
exactly. I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna vet all the town ordinances once again to double check what we looked at. How many separate instruments do we have zoning property in St. Paul? There's 710 acres, I've been able to find 100 and some odd acres that has actually been zoned. Then I need to be able to understand what zoning map was approved at what time, and is that zoning map valid? That's number 2. Number 3, land uses. You know, what land uses were in place at what time and what land use maps? Even the land use maps do not provide zoning. And I need to be able to put all that in a clear summary,
For the firm.
yeah, for Clark to review so we can identify our way forward. Well, Clark has already reviewed ordinance 253, which adopted the zoning map the town currently has. And he is of the opinion that if you don't have a separate zoning ordinance, that property is not zoned based upon that map.
Just like there's accounting people that we can contract with, are there municipal experts that we could contract with to get this resolved more quickly?
Casey.
There are planning experts, again, that could look into it. But they're going to have to spend the same amount of time, spend a lot of time on it as well.
Yeah, but you're trying to run a town at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
No quick answer, I take it.
It would probably actually take longer.
Right.
If there's any group that I would recommend for this issue, if you wanted someone in the third party, it'd probably be Freeze and Nichols Planning Department. They're probably one of the better planning firms out there. They're a large-scale engineering firm. They have a very good planning staff.
Is that a potential recommendation from you?
If you want to take the time. Otherwise, I'm going to have to,
Well, you got to tell us. I mean, you're limited time, right? So.
I think let me
This
do
is
it
a-
initially.
It's a big deal. It's a big issue that we need to get resolved.
It's significant. I think let me do my initial review next week. Get back with Clark, decide on a way forward, and then meet with council on August 11th and decide if we need to bring a third party in to review.
So, Scott, my question earlier was, so we got Montessori, Reformation, Coventry, Lakeway, do we have any other missing SUPs?
Restoration, Coventry, Pinnacle,
Pinnacle and Lakeway. That's the only SUP, so everything else is?
I can't, I'm hesitant, something
Only
will
ones
come
we
up.
got, I think, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, those are the ones, I mean, you know, the process we went through with DFW Connection, and obviously the Giovanni's is the process you should follow. So, if you recall, when we talked about the map back in December, Clark's recommendation is every chance you have to zone a piece of property, you need to take that opportunity. So when we're moving forward with the SUP on DFW Connection, we asked DFW Connection to file a separate application to zone their property R15, which they did.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Giovanni's right next door. So every opportunity we have, we ask the property owners to submit an application for it. So,
Thanks for the details, Ms. Appreciate it.
And speaking of SUP, the church that's on Parker Road, north of Gillers, the brass property, the Seventh-day Adventure. Yes, there's a for lease sign. Are they going to still submit an SUP, or do you know where that is?
You know, we received a call a few weeks ago, and I thought, man, to give you a direct answer, no.
Okay, so that's, okay.
If you would ask me 2 or 3 weeks ago, I said things were picking up again, but it's been very silent.
Robert, anything else?
Nope.
Justin?
Nope.
Okay, down on this end? Okay. Thank you, Scott. At this time, make a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, have a second, all in favor? Aye. Okay, motion is adjourned. Meeting is adjourned. JC, you need to, sorry, yes. Up here.
No worries. Just real.
Thank you, sir.
Shred.
Oh, no, yes. That'll be tomorrow morning.
Thanks again, Scott.
This is the one.
No, see, signature, other person, which is you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Larry. I'm David. I just remember we had a conversation. All the sugar side. That's it.
I have a dumb question for tomorrow. If everyone is here.
You're
and I
right,
sit here,
that's-
it's better for me to ask questions at the beginning or can I type in questions?
I'm gonna move
I'm
furniture.
never here early enough to ask. So I just didn't know how to back here.
We tore that house apart. I got master bedroom last night.
Okay, well, I just, if they're all here tomorrow, we don't need that. I just want to make sure I'm able to talk to you.
Sure you can. Always respect the chairman.
Yeah, why?
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I would consider that intimidation. Further reinforcement of the media.
So we have boxes stacked beside everywhere, furniture, grass, it's a silver, all cars are fixing to have to sit out.
All right, good evening.
Next time we'll have to coordinate. Again.
Yeah,
Could hail at any time.
I wore black though. You wore blue.
This year, yeah. And I've got to get
That's
another
not rude,
roof.
but, yeah.
I'm gonna have to call my insurance on that one.
Hey, good, man. How's life?
Oh, turning the page for another year.
Good thing it can't happen on my side.
I guess.
Well, hang in there.
Yeah, no.
You doing okay though?
Yeah, still kicking. Somehow. All right.
Take care.